Last week, since you were here last, rumors both ways on Odell Beckham Jr., whether he wants out, doesn't want out. I think some of these guys, Bud, are using that low-hanging fruit theory that they just throw Cleveland out there and it's going to gain some legs. I don't hear stuff like this about other teams. Am I too close to the scene here in Cleveland, or am I correct that it happens more here than other places?
Say this in defense of the guys who are reporting this or tweeting it or whatever they're doing. You know, this is the kind of situation that happened in New York, right? He was being rumored to want out and them to want to trade him, and eventually it did happen. So I don't think these guys are, at least the writers I know, wouldn't just make something up out of thin air. Now they may be getting bad information. I believe the Browns when they say that they're not going to trade him to Minnesota, or that there was nothing to that particular trade. But I don't believe them if they're going to say that there's nothing that would make them trade him before the season starts. Because I think if somebody on draft day came up with, a really attractive package, I think they'd be dumb not to do it.
And under the circumstances with Stefanski, who has been in Minnesota for so long, I'm not sure it would be unheard of if there was conversation between the two teams about a myriad of players or possibility.
It's just when you hear DePodesta come out that strongly and say that it's completely false. I don't know him to be. I've known him to misspeak and to say things like Carson Wentz didn't look like a top 20 quarterback and look foolish for saying so. But I don't know him to be a guy who spends a lot of time trying to throw people off the scent. Now, obviously, they have some incentive. They don't want Odell Beckham Jr. to think that they have been seriously talking about a trade this year, and maybe they'll be able to explain themselves if somebody blows them away with a trade. I just think that they would consider it, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe they're sold on how dynamic this offense can be if they can figure out a way to get him the ball and have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt for a full year, Austin Hooper, Jarvis Landry. It should be a really difficult offense to defend if the right coach is calling the plays.
All right, assuming that he's healthy after the surgery that he had, you want to see him on this team at least one more year?
Beckham?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess barring a really good haul in a trade. If somebody on draft day, which I don't expect to happen, said, we'll trade you number one for Odell Beckham, I would really be I'd lean heavily toward doing it. But short of that, yeah, I would like to see. He was more, somebody referred to him as, having him on your team as like death by paper cut. There's never the one big incident that makes you say, we can't have this guy in the locker room. There's never the season where he underperforms so badly that you say it's not worth it. So his numbers last year were not great. He never really hit it off with Mayfield. If you like the way he was in the locker room, and only these coaches know how he was based on their contacts in the league, then I could see why you'd want to give that a chance one more time.
All right.